Hey guys, it's Steph here again. So today I'm going to walk through a little bit of retargeting in Maya for you guys. If you've ever been in a situation where your animation team has done a whole bunch of animation onto a skeleton, and then suddenly the technical director or the animation director decides that they want to change the skeleton around somehow, and so that puts you in a situation where you've got to retarget a whole bunch of animations you've already done onto a brand new skeleton. You can do this in Motion Builder, but you can also do it in Maya as well. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through a pretty basic setup here. So let's say that this is the original source skeleton that all of the animation is sitting on. And let me just hide this for a minute. And let me bring up what would be the target skeleton, so what we're going to solve all of our data onto. So this is the new skeleton that they want all of the old animation retargeted onto this new skeleton. And I've added an extra spine bone here. Let's say they want to get a little more fidelity in the lower back. And let's say they also say they don't want to have the rotation along the bone length, in this case Y rotation on the wrists, but they want to distribute the rotation of the wrists up into a forearm roll or twist bone up into the forearm. So if I come in here to the skeleton, you can see that I've limited the Y rotation on the wrists, and I've distributed the rotation, and I'm going to distribute the rotation of the twist down onto the forearm bone. So we basically need to get all of the old animation onto the new rig. So the constraint system that I've set up, pretty much the old skeleton is going to drive the new skeleton in a lot of ways. We're going to drive obviously rotation and orientation at the root. All the rest of the bones, if everything is following properly, for the most part should just be orientation constraints. In the back, what we're going to do is build an IK system here that goes from the base of the spine all the way up to the neck, and the IK handle up here is actually going to be constrained to the source skeleton's upper back. So that's going to allow that to drive. Up here, again, we're going to have, in the forearm, we're going to have a single chain IK handle that is going to get its twist driven from the original source data wrist bone, but that twist is then going to drive the forearm roll of the target skeleton. Just looking back in the spine again, the IK handle is a RP or rotation plane solver, and the sphere back here is a constraint for that rotation plane. This sphere is then constrained to the original target skeleton to minimize the amount of deformation away from the original animation that we actually have in the spine. Excuse me. Okay, so with all of that stuff in place, I'm actually going to, so I've written a couple of scripts here that are going to import our animation for us. So the first script that I've actually got, before I do that, let me just turn on the IK handles, just so, if you want to see them and make sure that they're there. There they are. Okay, so the first thing that I've written 3 scripts here. The first one is just a basic import script. So it's going to go into our data. Let me just come up to our original, find the source data. So the raw anims, there we go. So this is one of the original animations. So I'm bringing it, I'm loading the original animation onto the original source skeleton, and you can see that the target skeleton, the new skeleton, is following perfectly. And so if I just hit play, you can see that it's all working well. You can also see the time slider has the appropriate number of frames as well. That's what we want as well. We don't want to have the wrong number of frames there. So it brings in the appropriate number of frames. So now, once you've brought the animation in, I've got this what I call an output script. So if we just actually open up this script for a second and just have a look at it, you can see that it does stuff like it bakes out the hips first, then it bakes the entire body. It renames the skeletons so that things will export with the appropriate naming convention on them. And that's pretty much what it does. If I hit my output button now, And you can see the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to do a couple of passes. And you can see as it's retargeting, you can see that the hips are actually, or the spine is actually following quite nicely. There's no jumping or popping. The constraint system of the rig is working properly, doing what we want it to do. So it's just gone through and has baked everything for us. Now it's asking us to output. So that you just need to remember what name that file was. That was dynamic_1, and here it is. So in the retargeted data folder. So I just need to double click on that and overwrite it. Yes. Don't worry about these errors. That's just an error saying that the constraints couldn't be exported. We don't want those exported anyway, so that's fine. And then you can see now our skeleton has all the new baked animation on it. If I select a bone like this and I come into my channel box, I can see that I've only got the rotations where I need them. I don't have any extra channels, which is not what we want. Even in the hips, I have translate and rotate. That's what I want. I don't want any scale or anything like that. So it's just keying exactly where we want it to key. And we did that by simply setting up the constraint or the bake so that it would only bake the selected channels that we have in the channel box here. So now that that's done, the next thing I'll do is I'll hit my last script here, which is my reset script, which basically takes us all the way back to where we were before when we wanted to actually start everything. So it resets the skeleton and the rig. If we don't do that, we would have a problem. So by hitting the reset button, we can now come in and import our next animation. So let's grab this one just for example. Let's say we'll grab a jog. And there we go. So here's our new jog animation. And off it goes. So now I just do this exactly the same thing. So I would hit my output again. It would run through, it would bake the hips first, then it should come through and bake everything else, all the other joints. It'll bake those out, and then it'll ask me to save. Open up my export window for me. That was jog 45, I'll export that. Give me this warning error, close that, reset the skeleton, and I'm ready for my next file. And onward and upward. So if you have a couple of hundred files that you need to do, writing something that's going to batch this would probably be an easier way to go. But if you just got maybe 100 files or so, put your headphones on and you can just get through it probably in about half an hour or so, and that'll save you a lot of work. So I will save these scripts out for you guys to pull apart and have a look at, as well as this rig. As always, your comments are welcome. Thanks for watching and have a great day.